fans, welcome to the Hold Your Brakes Academy here on CRN as we are here at COTA. This is the second road race of the season for the drivers here at the Hold Your Brakes Academy, presented by PinUpsForVets.com. We had Watkins Glen earlier this season. That was one the drivers probably had plenty of laps on and plenty of experience in plenty of different cars. But here, we're going trucking in Texas, but not at the Tri-Oval or the Quad Oval. We're here at COTA, and this is race number 10 of the season, so it'll complete the second third of this season, but it's going to feel like 10 races in one, I think, for some of these drivers, because this is a tough road course here. It doesn't matter if you're in a GT3 car out here, one that's designed for road courses. It is still tough, and especially the layout here tonight. It's not the full course. It's just the west version, the west layout of this course, the one that they do run in the NASCAR series, but it can be very tricky. The S turns, the kind of the cut through the infield to the back half of the course. It is a very difficult section of the track. We'll see what the drivers can do in managing that tonight. Carl and we're joined in the booth by Jimmy Cover. Jimmy, we have 40 laps here around a tough track.
Yeah, 40 is the big number here for this track. Obviously, they're going to be out there, and that's something that's kind of unique. And Carl was talking about some of the challenges that the drivers are going to have. Turn 1 being the first of many. Up the hill and a more than 90-degree left-hand turn. So, started off right, I guess, and it kind of helps that there is a hill that kind of goes up there for turn number 1 before they make the left-hand turn, but it's still one of the trickiest, especially when drivers are getting anxious, especially to get going and trying to get positions here. Tonight, I think, is a little bit about survivability. How well can you stay on the track? How well can you take care of your tires and finish this thing? Now, we've seen at Watkins Glen a few drivers kind of dominate up the front, but that can all go by the wayside with a big mistake or even a small one, as it will take some time to make their way back to the field here. So wish the drivers the best of luck. Qualifying is done. We do have 17 drivers out here tonight, and we'll go ahead and do a quick rundown of where your favorite driver might sit. So welcome all CRN Nation here at COTA, but why isn't it showing? I got a blank list, and that is definitely the qualifying, so that's unique where the numbers didn't come up. Let me see if I could try another one. Let's try this one. Here we go. So Matt Ulmer is going to take the pill here tonight, and then number 23, Royal Motorsports Machine, and then Timothy Priestley, the winner at Watkins Glen, is going to start in second. Jeremiah Growley, I believe your points leader, is going to be in third with Tom Lanier in fourth. Ronald Cook and Jeremy Gill will make up row number 3. Row number 4 being Aaron Genske and David Chapman. Anthony Strickland and David Shively in row number 5. Joe Thomas along with Robert White will be in row number 6. And back a little bit further through the field, row number 7 is going to be Robert Altman and Rachel Sullivan. Shane King and Dalton Smith will be back on row number 8, and for our row number 9 here tonight is going to be Matt Bryant. So 17 drivers brave enough to try to tame this track. It's the big one at Texas. I don't know. We're going to find out and see if they can get these trucks around here in one piece and finish 40 laps. It takes about a minute and 40 seconds or so, probably more like 1:45 to kind of get around here tonight. So a long one for these drivers in these trucks.
I know everything's bigger in Texas. Hopefully it doesn't account for the wrecks that we may see here tonight, because there will be a few. I'm going to go out on the limb and say there's going to be some drivers going off track. Now, whether they keep it off the walls or not, that's up to the driver. But certainly turn 1 is going to be a lawn chair spot for sure. I think there's going to be a lot of trouble the first time, maybe the first few times going through turn 1, because it's so different. I mean, we talk about Watkins Glen. Race number 6 was the other road course on the season here. It's almost the exact opposite of Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen, you're going downhill, and it's just a 90-degree turn to the right. I say just. I mean, it can definitely be difficult there for turn 1 of Watkins Glen. But here, as Jimmy mentioned, you're going extremely uphill, and then it is probably a good maybe 120-degree turn. It's way more than 90 degrees to go around turn number 1, which kind of loops you up and over. It's almost like a roller coaster-esque, where you're going up, you do kind of a little loop, and then you're coming right back down as you head down towards the S's. So very tricky, especially on these cold tires that these drivers are going to be out there. And you're looking at the 22 on there on the screen, starting in second. Timothy Presley dominated at Watkins Glen, led all 40 laps there at the Glen. We'll see if anybody can get the best of him. Certainly Matt Ulmer already getting the better of him here in qualifying, but we'll have 40 laps again here to determine who is going to be the winner of race number 10. When we got some time, we'll take a look at the point standings coming in. It is Jeremiah Grau still leading the way by 38 over Aaron Genske, 109 over Jeremy Gill. Timothy Presley is 148 back, and Shane King 160 back in the top 5. Then David Chapman, Rob Higgs, James Smith, Robert Altman, and Tom Lanier rounding out your top 10. But base car lights are out, making that left-hand turn in. The drivers will go around the final corner here, and then we'll get the green flag from Marty this time by, as 17 trucks will start the race. Will they all finish? We're about to find out here, because green flag is not that one. It is this one here that we're coming up on, and we are racing here at COTA.
And down I should say up the front stretch. Obviously getting in there and looking for that turn, and you can see those some drivers will probably go back to front. So good job by all the drivers getting to turn number 1. Matt Ulmer
off of the grass. And gets back on the track and loses several spots there with the cold tires definitely biting the 23s. It falls way back in the field. Grau is going to take over the top spot right now as they head to the little short chute in between what I consider the actual track and then back to the actual track. It's almost like they're basically taking a shortcut to get back onto the track here and go into what is normally turn number 12. Another really tight left-hand turn that's a little more than 90 degrees. But so far so good. Good start for your points leader.
Yeah, it's been a little while since just in the 48 kind of getting out front and hopefully trying to run away here. And so he's got a little bit of speed. He's started up the front here. You can see him working. It's a very technical track, and it's really hard to keep them X's in line so you don't they build up super quick here. I'm not sure how they're getting them out of the trucks. Down here, this is a little quicker section of the track. You can really kind of hit your marks here for some of these corners, and it's kind of sensitive to see it picking out the rear end. Timothy Presley is rolling off the tractor quite a bit, but kind of keep it rolling, and 48 sparks keeps going. Does look like 48 will get the first lap up here tonight, so it's a big step there for Jeremiah Grau, but we got a few incidents. We'll go back there, or something happened with Ronald Cook here shortly after, and I guess this is so count that.
I would check out like Jimmy.
Yeah, no, I was just kind of leaving my spool up in the same red, so I figured I'd check it out. But everybody's doing pretty good this week.
David Shibley has even went off track, but he came back on, so I don't think anything too crazy with him. And we've seen the incident there with Matt Ulmer earlier on. But other than that, it's definitely a two-truck breakaway. Jeremiah Grau, Timothy Presley for your top 2 as the 218. Joe Thomas going off track, and that was in the S's there. Rachel Sullivan up there in 13th. You see right there the S's biting the 218, able to keep it off the wall as he locks it up in time, but he's going to fall back all the way to 16th. As it looks like it's 16 trucks out there. Matt Bryant deciding this is maybe not for him. He keeps 41 in pit lane. But as I mentioned, it is a wide gap already. You see right there, that's the top 2 way back there, 6 seconds almost already in between Jeremiah Grau and Timothy Presley, and then back to third place of Ronald Cook, who is the 6 seconds back, and then another second back to Aaron Genske, and Tom Lanier makes up your top 5. Then you got Jeremy Gill, Matt Ulmer, David Chapman, Robert Altman, and Anthony Strickland for your top 10. So Ulmer tried to make his way back up through there after having the pole early on. And he's certainly got a fast truck, but he's going to be smart with these passes, and that was almost a disaster right there for the 99 and maybe the 23 as he backs out and tries to get a good run down the front stretch.
Yeah, we already know Matt's got some decent speed. Let's start up there on the pole and just being able to handle the full tires and not can't handle the traffic and get back up there and use that speed that he found during qualifying to move it back up. Has gotten back up in defeat ever since. Good recovery so far for the North 23, but has a long way to go if he plans on getting up there. Shane King being involved in an incident here on his lap number 2. Let's see if we can just
Looks like he parked it.
He said, I'm done.
Just not for him as well. You got to get the starting parkers. The guys are saving their tires, saving their fuel for another race. Racing can get expensive. Certainly, iRacing can get a little expensive as well. But it looks like we do have a pass for the lead, so we have to take a look back and see when this happened. But Timothy Presley has made the move and gotten in front now of Jeremiah Corral. And we'll see right here out of the S's, a great cut under right there from Timothy Presley, heading through the shortcut there, and then dives to the inside. And should we mention, off tracks are definitely a possibility here tonight. And these drivers, well, they do have to mind their P's and Q's. They only had 17x before they get a penalty, and then 25 they will get disqualified. So it's not one where you can just use them up and you got it limited. You got to be careful out there. So we'll see if any penalties or DQs come into play here before the end of the night. But already down 2 trucks. Matt Bryan again decided not to start. Shane King did start, but already parked it in the number 60. But it's Timothy Presley out front of Jeremiah Grau, Genski, Gill, and Ulmer for your top 5. As Ulmer's already made it back to 5th.
Yeah, Ulmer's jumping the move at the moment, obviously, and he's going to see, I think, the 23 kind of up this right through. And as long as the front 2 trucks aren't going to have any issues, he'll probably find himself up into around number 3. So, but there's still a lot of race left. Only on lap number 440. It's going to be, like I said, it's quite a long one here for these drivers to kind of tackle a road course. And it's typically it's about an hour.
Isn't it?
Just under an hour, and now this one here will be a little over an hour here tonight with the road course. So just maybe a few extra laps or time in the truck here tonight. So you wanted some practice, this is the time to get it, and then kind of get it better once you get out there and get after it. But Joe Thomas continuing to have issues here tonight. We'll go back and check on the 213 to 218 yet again in S's and just trying to use the weight of that truck, and again, almost the same exact spot. No damage on the 218, but still trying to figure out the weight transfer of the 218 to the S's car.
Yeah, and it's tough. Like I said, I've had trouble in the S's and GT3 cars, and they're designed for going left and right. But these trucks, the weight shift, the transfer, there's not a lot of weight in the back end of these trucks to begin with, and you see. Right there, even coming out of the corners, Genski trying to keep it in line, but there Gill gets a little bit too deep there on Genski and tries to keep off and tries to lock it up, and looking out there a little bit as he tries to get back going. Still having issues for Jeremy Gill, man. I don't know what he's got to do, who's got to call. Certainly, maybe Ghostbusters, they'll try and not get the ghost off his line, but either way, going to fall back through the field here a little bit, now back to 18th. But Timothy Presley leads the way, and I'm already checking out since he got past Jeremiah Grau. He's kind of set sail here a little bit and looking to do another dominating performance here on the road as he out there 2.7 seconds in the lead. They've got a 10.5 second lead over Aaron Genski in 3rd, so they're definitely the class of the field here tonight. We'll see if Matt Ulmer can get up there and see if he can reel him in. He's already up into 4th, and peeking there a little bit there on Genski as he runs him down. A couple more drivers getting some off tracks, but I don't see any kind of issues other than, we've seen Shane King, we've seen Joe Thomas, we've seen the incident right there with Jeremy Gill. So everyone, trying to, again, mind their P's and Q's, because on a track like this, on a road course like this, as Genski goes wide, we got to give an opportunity to Ulmer. Sometimes you just got to survive these 40 laps, Jimmy, and you can very well pick up the top 10 from drivers going off, having issues, maybe picking up too many X's. You can sneak your way into the top 10, even if you may not be a top 10 truck.
Yeah, as I said, I think for some of these drivers, it's more about driving the track and, just drive the race. Don't worry about your lap times. Just get around here safe. And other drivers that want to race, just kind of like Matt Ulmer trying to know he's fast, and the guy was on the pole, and now he's trying to get back up there in a position to get back on the podium. And one big there by Matt when he comes back here as they come up through turn number one. Looking to the inside showing Genski there just a nose a little bit, and you see the 115 going super wide. We'll continue to close out the 23, but not enough of an opportunity for the 22 to get position on the 115. We're going to go back here. It does look like Anthony Strickland has suffered an incident back here. We'll find out what happened to the Yankees machine. Is it maybe just throttle? Just a little too much throttle there. Spin number 24 around and end up backing it around. And then still not good too. So go around the second time. Remember, tires being all bad and all. No, he was good. And Tom Lanier, the number 99, also had some issues here as well. This is turn number one. This is probably just going off there or something here. That to me, Carl, would be a too fast of a downshift.
Yeah, or just brake bias needs to be worked on, and they may moved a little bit more towards the front. They may have locked up the rears on that one, but certainly no issues for Timothy Presley right now, as again stretching out the lead now to 3.4 seconds out front us. And we got a little AL East battle here, as we got Dalton Smith in the Tampa Bay Rays paint scheme, and then as Jimmy mentioned, you got Anthony Strickland right behind him and the Yankees paint scheme. I used to like Anthony Strickland when he ran the Quaker State number 24. Well, now he's going the other way, and he's running a Yankees paint scheme. So, no thanks. You can go ahead and keep that one. But either way, good to see a couple of baseball fans out there, at the very least. But everyone chasing the 22 Presley right now. Grau, Ulmer, Genski, Cook for your top five. So Ulmer was able to get around Genski, as we've seen, and now he tries to set his sights on running down this top two, but he's got 12 and a half seconds to make up. But he's got some time. He's got 33 laps to go to try and catch them.
Yeah, 33 laps. At least a pit stop, maybe two. You don't know when that pit window becomes available. It does look like for two stops, so they have to get around probably 12 records. With 15-ish, 14, 15, somewhere in there. You can see 23 really trying to work it. And what he basically doesn't want to do is overdrive the car too much either and find himself losing time to the leaders, and just to keep his marks clean and concise and smooth, and try to save the tires a little bit for them drivers out there. But you have Jeremiah Grau and Timothy Presley starting to kind of walk away here with this one to already a 4-second lead here. Only a quarter way through the race, so plenty of time for Tim to just kind of do what he needs to do. Just take his time. Don't be too easy, but don't overdo it. You want to jam on brakes and down on corners and just take your time. He has a pre-open track, at least a quarter way around. It's quite some time before he would reach up to 218, which is in the back there, the last check in the boot lap at the moment. So it just has plenty of time to kind of take it easy. Unlike Matt Ulmer that wants to kind of get out there and maybe get that or get the opportunity to get that top spot here tonight. He's going to have to drive a little more aggressive and be a little harder on his truck tonight. And he made his mistake early, so now he's got to work for the rest of it to get it back. Joe Thomas getting involved here on yet another one. So 218 struggling here tonight.
And the S's, Jimmy. And the S's. Shocker. No, actually,
no, this is
no, this is the long sweeping right-hand turn. Well, while I have you real quick, it looks like we're getting word that our mics are a little bit low. Either that or the trucks are a little bit too loud. As Genski goes for a bit of a ride right there. And we've seen one live right there. So Genski's going to lose a spot and start sliding his way back there. But we'll get the mics turned up so everybody can hear our voices. I mean, let's be honest, they come here to hear us. They don't come here to hear the trucks. They don't come here to hear the car. We'll give them a little bit of it. They love to hear it, but in the meantime, they want to hear us for some reason. I don't know what, but but either way, we try to aim to please.
Yeah, just it wasn't so much our mics being too low; it was the engines being too loud. Just trying to capture, the roar of the engines here tonight. And some of the tracks, the mics are depending on the cameras, they can get quite loud without even turning up the volume at all. And it's just kind of one of those things. It's per track, and it's great to have the fans out there keep us in check and let us know how things are going. That's one way to help us out, and we appreciate anything there, especially if maybe you haven't seen your most favorite driver out there. Give us, let us know in the chat. We'll do our best to show you where he's at and how they're doing, and give you an update of where they might stand. But right now it is Timothy Presley leading the way here over Jeremiah Grau. Matt Ulmer's in third. Ronald Cook, Aaron Genski for your top five. Robert Altman, Jeremy Gill, Tom Lanier, David Shibley, David Chapman, Robert White, Dalton Smith, Anthony Strickland, Rachel Sullivan, Joe Thomas, and then you got Shane King and then Matt Bryant there for your 17 truck field.
I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in and listening to us when you can. And if you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe, get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. I want to thank our sponsors for the series, obviously PinUpsForVets.com, the main sponsor here, Mid-Tier Racing, Marty's iRacing Paint Shop, Meats and Sweets, and I had Mid-Tier Racing. I feel like I'm missing one. Try to go back there. Backbone Candle Company is the other one. So I want to thank all the sponsors here for the series for helping keep the lights on and helping keep us on board here with HYBA Brakes Academy as we got a battle here. Rachel Sullivan in the middle of the AL East battle here between the 24 and the 97, and she's unfortunately smack dab in the middle of this. It's the battle for 12th, 13th, and 14th on the track. So closest battle on the track right now between these three trucks. Other than that, it's pretty spread out as the 97 of Dalton Smith goes for a bit of a slide.
Just like that, you can lose a bunch of time. It was a battle, and now two broke away. So Rachel Sullivan moving up in the P number 13 here tonight. I think last time we seen Rachel out on the road course, it looked like she wasn't very comfortable, but now the 97 Dalton, and there may be a sense of a little bit of urgency and driving a little bit wide, and it's going to do it
happen right there
for 3 corners in a row.
Well, I was going to say, you get those tires lit up one time, they're going to be super angry. They're not going to want to turn. They're not going to want to stop. And if you do turn, you got to worry about them turning a little bit too much. You got to be careful. It's almost like those first couple laps out there with cold tires. You got to be careful with any kind of loss of traction. And it's the same thing when you get those tires a little bit lit up. But we're seeing another battle now developing between the 85 of Shively and the 88 of Chapman, battle for 9th and 10th.
Yeah, pretty close battle here between these two, and just kind of go back to see how they're handling the situation. And it's obviously you're waiting for the person to make a mistake. These trucks are we talk about a track like this and GT3 cars, cars with downforce, and they're meant to go around these corners just kind of ripping and roaring and flying and hopping curves and stuff like that. The trucks obviously they weigh a lot more. The weight transfer is a thing. It's hard to feel weight transfer in in a truck, especially on a road course, because there is so much and it has a lot to do with it. And, you might be able to feel it in your steering a little bit, if you got some rumblers on your pedals or something like that, you might be able to feel it, especially when you go over them rumble strips, the curbs on the outside, kind of let you know where you're at. But yeah, there's not many people that go full all out and have that motion sim, I guess if you want to call it, added to the whole package of a simulator. To actually kind of toss you around a little bit. So maybe unless you have some of your closest friends, me and Carl kind of watching some videos that kind of come across, and seen one where it was like 4D racing, and have a couple of your closest friends, go ahead and shake your rig for you, slap you in the face with some corn stalks, whatever it may be. It's definitely kind of got a good chuckle out of that. As a lot of drivers know how pricey motion can get, especially if you're looking for something that's more the top end. There's one thing they really haven't seen many companies do, is come out with something that's kind of, I guess, respectable in price. For the price of motion for a rig, you're talking almost like the full price of the rest of the rig itself. And motion is kind of a luxury, not a necessity for anything to do with racing. So and if you're in an endurance race, I couldn't imagine running an endurance race and being in a motion rig for like 4 or 5 hours on some of them courses that are extremely bumpy, or you're always getting tossed around. That would probably be something new to get used to, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I almost think it's if anything, it's maybe a disadvantage to have an motion rig, because you're getting the feel for it, and I'm sure if you're IRL driver, you want to get all the feel of it and try and really have your simulator up to stuff. But if you're just a casual fan out there, it's not going to help you. It's going to be one more kind of distraction for you to take you off your game, and unless you're looking for the all-out full simulation and you want to feel everything, you want to have your direct drive wheel, you want to have that cranked all the way up, you want to have your motion rig, sure, you can have that. That's not me, and I'm sure that's not a lot of these drivers out here. They want to be able to enjoy it and be able to still handle their cars or trucks like they're out there in it tonight. But Timothy Presley already catching up to some lap traffic, as you see him right there catching up to the 97 of Dalton Smith, back of the pack, because he's got a 6-second lead on Jeremiah Grau right now. Big lead there for the 22. Grau has got another 14 seconds back to Matt Ulmer. So since Ulmer's gotten into third, hasn't made too much of a dent into to running down second place. And if anything, he's lost a little bit of time. Ronald Cook in fourth. Aaron Getsky was in fifth, but now he's in the pits, as we may be entering our first round of pit cycles.
Yeah, pit cycles should be coming up soon. Like I said, I was talking right around that 13, 14 kind of range, and Getsky maybe shooting this one here a little bit early, but definitely within that window to make it. Obviously 13 times 3, you're looking at 39. If I get lapped once, then I'm good to go.
Yeah, definitely not a bad thing to do, and it can happen in endurance events or even in ones like this, where if you kind of need to work it backwards sometimes, and if you don't have the car to win, or maybe even in multi-class racing, if it's obviously if you're not in the fastest class, you're not going to run the most laps, so you need to keep an eye on where that leader is. And if you're looking to make that final pit stop, and you can normally get, say, 10 laps on a tank, but you see where that leader is, and he's going to lap you at least one more time. Well, now all of a sudden you only need 9 laps to get you to the end, so you can kind of work that backwards and maybe take a little bit less fuel on that last pit stop. Or in the case like this, if you realize, hey, I'm probably going to get lapped this race, if I can make it to 13, that'll be enough, because I'm only going to end up running 39 laps instead of 40.
Yeah, it's obviously I think the drivers are going to be good to go. We're on lap 14 here. I'll bring up the tower, so you can see the distance between from the leader back to each position, and then go ahead and bring up pit stops. Not pit stops, but pit. That's already it. So you can already see the a few drivers coming in Genski there on lap number 12. So some drivers just kind of coming in early. Ulmer in, Altman in. So drivers starting to kind of fire it up here, Carl. Like we said, about that 14, 15 lap range.
Yeah, I mean, I said to kind of split up into kind of 3 different segments here tonight, and the last one, maybe we'll see the drivers only take fuel on that last one, but I think these drivers are going to want 4 fresh tires on those trucks at all times to try and give them any kind of opportunity that they can. But we'll see if the pit stop here early from Ulmer, maybe the short pit will work out here and be able to gain a second or 2 on Jeremiah Grau and maybe make this a race for second. I don't think the way Timothy Presley is running here tonight, unless he makes a mistake, that first place is back in the options here for Matt Ulmer. But if he can try and find his way back to second, I think that would feel like a win after the early incident.
Yeah, it's a tough break there for Matt. Obviously, you put all that effort in to get a great qualifying run, and you start there, you get the extra point if they have them for grabbing that pole, and next thing you know, you're off the track. Fighting to get back up to the field. And I guess the big thing is that no damage was done to the truck, and Timothy Presley now in the pits, Jeremiah Grau now in the pits, Anthony Strickland in the pits at the moment here as well, and his truck's coming down off the left side, and away he goes. So obviously the Timothy Presley and Jeremiah Grau are getting to the point of starting to lap traffic, which also can throw things in the wrench of things, but Ronald Cook's going to relinquish P number 3 that's where he was currently running. David Shively out there now in 4th, after a few drivers already pit, but see if he comes in this time as well. So almost all the drivers have come in. Rachel's still hanging on out there, Carl, currently up in P9.
And as is Joe Thomas right behind her right there. As I seen Joe Thomas went off track again. I'm guessing he went through the S's again and probably didn't like it. I seen not too long ago he had another crash in the 218 as Rachel gave him plenty of room there to Tom Lanier, and just trying to keep that truck in one piece and really doing a good job. And as I mentioned, this is definitely a strategy to have. You don't have to be the fastest out here on a road course. He's got to keep you between those lines, keep the penalties off the table, keep the track or the truck pointed the right way on the track, and never know what can happen. Right now Rachel's sitting in 9th place, but she's got to pit along with Joe Thomas. They'll be the last ones to come into the pits as Timothy Presley in and out. He's got a 5-second lead over Jeremiah Grau. Unfortunately, it's now up to 22 seconds back to Matt Ulmer, as Ulmer had a little bit longer of a stop. Not sure what happened there, but a 14 and a half second stop for Jeremiah Grau, almost a 20-second stop for Matt Ulmer. So maybe he had a little bit of damage that he had to get fixed. I don't see where it would have been, but you never know. Sometimes some of these curbs, Jimmy, are a little bit larger and can actually do some damage to the splitter.
Yeah, it really kind of depends here. You see Joe Thomas and Rachel kind of battling out here just a little bit still out there on them older tires, stretching the fuel here. And early, just comfortable, just running her race right now, and Joe trying to make ups for some, lost opportunities, battling with the S's himself, and trying to figure those out. And like I said, it's a difficult track to kind of get around here, and you're not on the throttle, maxing the truck out all the time, and you're probably down farther in the gears than you want to be, but it's worrying about that rotation. See Joe getting some pretty good rotation on the truck at the moment, but you can just kind of hear how quiet the truck is, and that's just him not using much throttle, just kind of 10-15% probably, just enough to kind of keep some of the speed up here, and trying to shoot for the inside here. And Rachel's truck's really kind of pushing right now, so I would not be surprised if her tires are about toasted. And it does look like something has evolved there with the 4 of Jeremy Gill right behind the 115, and getting into Genski, puts him in a self spin, does keep it off the wall, but gonna lose some more time. She backs that truck around. I think that small pause there was just to double check nobody was coming, and gets it rolling straight. And then I guess we talked too much about Rachel. We'll see what happened here. Looks like she was involved in a small incident, so maybe just a self spin here. It looked like from the final turns, but no, it's the
Joe
218
got
to
tired
Joe
of it.
Thomas.
Joe got tired of it. Yeah, I'm sure I missed a breaking spot there for Joe Thomas, but kind of, I guess, perfect timing because Rachel able to bring him right into pit lane. Did see an issue for Tom Lanier. I'm not sure if he had connection issues or what the case was, but ended up disconnecting, and he has gotten back in, but he's lost several spots. Now down into 13th. He's back out there on the track, but some connection issues for the number 99 here tonight, but no issues right now for Timothy Presley out front. But Jeremiah Grau, last lap by there, ran the fastest lap of the race, 142.24. He's only 3 seconds behind, so maybe Grau finding a little bit here. Maybe those new tires were exactly what he needed as he tries to run it down. And even Matt Ulmer ran his fastest lap of his race so far with a 42.81. So both of them gaining on the leader. But I mean, right now Ulmer has got a huge task to get up to second place, let alone to first. But Grau, again, your points leader, maybe found a little something here for the second half of this race.
Yeah, Jeremiah's obviously been consistent enough to get the early points lead here and kind of keep things going. And the number 48, and another night, just kind of just be consistent, get out there and do the best you can, and make the best out of these finishes, and hopefully hang on to that points lead here. You can see he's got the 22 in his sights, and it's always tempting to try to push your vehicle to the limits, and it's what you don't want to do, actually. So you don't want to push it to the point where the truck's oversteering, and what I mean by that is, like, you go around the corner, you go to turn, and the thing just goes straight. So it's not what you want to do. You got to hit them marks, run it off there. You see looks like Anthony Strickland continuing to have a few issues right there in those final turns, and then Ronald Cook, but we'll catch to see what happened here. So the number 24 in those final turns here, just kind of just maybe a little too much throttle, and brings the rear end around, locks up the brakes, straightens it out, and keeps it going. And then we'll go back with Ronald Cook here. He was on the lead lap, and just final corners.
Right there, coming out of the short chute right there. But keeps it off the wall, and that last lap there by Jeremiah Grau didn't register because he must have an off track somewhere. But it was a 1:41.75, so gaining even more time. The lead that was out to 6 seconds at one point is down to 1.3. So not sure if Presley's just kind of conserving right now, if the 48 has got the bit between his teeth, or again maybe Jeremiah just found a little bit. Maybe the lap car there of Strickland was holding up Presley just a little, but either way, it's definitely been a pretty good drive here in the second stint for Jeremiah Grau as he tries to run down the leader. Maybe have one more shot here at Presley, but those two have checked out 31 seconds in between second place and third, as looks like Altman maybe cut the track here a little bit. I did see a yellow flag for him, but he's still got it pointed straight. Some drivers having some issues. Definitely the S-turns have been the big one, but we're even seeing some of the curbs starting to bite, like coming out of the little short chute right there. But I mean, you can't say anything wrong about our leaders up front. It's now was down to 1.1 seconds there for a brief moment as Grau looking to run down the leader.
And Altman obviously quietly has progressed through the field. 9 spots gained, Carl. That's quite a challenge here. Obviously, all the pit stops. Anybody making mistakes, and moving up 9 spots and being quiet about it deals with the other drivers maybe just having a few issues, whether it's was their pit stop or an off track.
You talked about it too much, Jimmy. Get Altman off the screen. Go to somebody else.
Nope. But I mean, that's what happens, and then obviously, one corner leads into 2 bad corners, and we'd talk about their those that 17X that can build up here quick. So like, who is getting close to that and will they go over? Will they get, will there be DQs tonight if they get too many? It's kind of a challenging track. I know this is one track that I think, if I remember correctly, and not just to say how challenging it is that Carl hates this track, and it got probably the most X's I think on any track ever, including
Spa.
Well, Spa, those are just like off tracks, like small off tracks, like a quarter of a tire or something. This here is way out of the range, just can't hit a turn, and you rack up 4 or 5 X's a lap, but yeah, it's challenging, you see some of these drivers, you can see them taking some of the curb, and you have to know what those limits are. Can you put the truck all the way across the red that you see here, or do you have to keep it on the pavement that's aligned with the track? But a lot of drivers looking to hit apexes and get corners cut, but the driver who can nail it the most and use them to their advantage and use the smoothest line, and run quick speeds is obviously who wins the race. Timothy Presley obviously showing it here, but
get him off the screen, Jimmy. The broadcast is in full effect here tonight, as maybe starting to feel the pressure from behind as Growl has caught him. It is a battle now for the lead, and we're seeing it right here. And Presley maybe overdriving the truck now a little bit, and Growl is going to go to the outside here and try to turn it in, but Presley's still right there. Going to try the crossover move here. He gets to the inside and briefly has the lead, but Presley's going to have the inside for the 2 left-hand turns. Growl's going to try and turn it down the track. A little loose coming out of there, but they're side-by-side battling. Presley's going to have the inside all the way around the long right-hand turn here. We'll see if Growl tries to stick it on the outside. If he does, he'll have the inside for the kink and the final corner. A great drive there from Growl, but he's going to back out of it as Presley goes way wide. That was probably a good job backing out there from Growl. But now it'll close right back in here out of the final corner. And we got ourselves a battle for sure here for first place. But you mentioned Robert Altman, biggest mover of the race, up 9 spots up there into 4th after starting in 13th. Jimmy, if there's one thing I learned about all my Disney books from when I was a kid, the turtle always finds a way. The turtle always finds a way. So, I mean, clearly that's what Robert Altman is. And I think the saying for the book was slow and steady, steady and slow. That's the only way to go. That's what you need here at the road course, that you need to be slow and methodical. I know that's kind of the methodical part. Yeah, you can take that as a driver, but the slow part, it's usually not in a racer's vocabulary. But slow is fast here at these road courses. You have to be smooth and consistent. You have to keep those tires underneath you. You have to, to make sure the truck is always pointed in the right direction. You can get a little bit loose here and there to maybe help the truck rotate through the corners, but you always got to be under control, because if you're out of control, all you're doing is losing time.
Yeah, and you can see, you see obviously the leaders here with the closest battle on the track, and from alongside, and this here is only a half a second, so obviously when you think a half a second in ovals, it's almost a quarter of a track, but not here, and that's why you can you can be right up on somebody's bumper, and then next thing you know, you're a half a second behind. It's not very much, and these drivers aren't going super fast here tonight. But looks like Rachel Sullivan having an issue here on her lap number 20. We'll see what happens, as this is the start-finish line, so it's going to happen up here in turn number 1, and maybe just
a little late on the brakes and tried to save it. Yeah. That's a pretty good save, all things considered. As again, it's about a 120-degree turn as she turns back on the track right in front of Robert Altman there, as she is a lap car. But all in all, it was, I think, a pretty good save from Rachel, and locked it up. Knew she wasn't going to make the turn. As we look at our leaders now going through turn number 1. But Jimmy, we're past that halfway point now as we start on lap number 21. I think it's about time we turn over and actually let those engines roar. Give everyone out there in Sierra Nation, we'd love to hear it.
We'll love to hear it. We'll just shut the mic. We won't mess with the car's volumes tonight.
Sights and sounds here. So I had to hold my breath there for a second. The Hold Your Brakes Academy presented by PinoutsForBets.com. Once again, want to thank everyone out there in Sierra Nation for tuning in. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything that we have to offer here, as we are seeing a pretty good battle for the lead. Jeremiah Grau was able to run down Timothy Presley and take the lead back that he had early on in the race, but now the undercut for Presley has worked to gain him back the lead. Now the question is, can he wrangle that 22 and keep it underneath him here for the final stage of this race? It seems like, the first part of the race he was able to, and now the 22 again getting it big time loose, and he's got to chase, he's got to cool those tires down again, and he's going to lose the lead here once again to the 40. He's going to fight back on the inside, side by side through the penultimate corner, and doesn't work out too well for the 22. He's going to back out of it, have to mount a charge here once again, hoping that Shively maybe holds up the 48 here a little bit, but a great run out of the corner. Shively's going to get out of the way, and Growl back to the point.
Yeah, it was kind of, I think Jeremiah had a little longer pit stop, and it kind of allowed Timothy to use that undercut to come out there and have warmer tires. But it does look like the 22 is having us, struggling just a little bit with some of the getting the power down, and now coming down to the S's, very tricky here for drivers to kind of battle to the S's. It is probably the most. It's probably the worst place to try to make a pass. It's best just to kind of allow, kind of go nose to tail and then mount your charge somewhere else on the track. And the 48 is still keeping it there, as the 22 Timothy Presley does make it back to the front. Aaron Genske having some issues back here again. He's back in P number 4 at the moment, and does see what happened here. It seemed said to be crashed, so probably just spun it around. So 115 just sliding it sideways there, just losing a little bit more time. So 115 after a pretty decent run. Still having a pretty good run, but up there in 4th at the moment, allowing Matt Oltmer to get back up into 3rd place still. So 35 seconds, to his nearest competitor up in front of him with the leaders. Actually 36. So, he's got a lot of time to make up. But I think right at this point, Matt Oltmer should be kind of in that zone where, like, all right, I'm not going to gain anything. I just need to hold where I'm at and take my time and hit these marks and finish this out here on a podium. But your battle is up with the leaders at the moment. We do have another battle back with Davis Shively and Davis Shively and Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas, after all the issues you've seen there, currently up in 6th place. So even after having issues early, has found himself up there. Pull up the tower here, see when he pit last though. Yeah, he's gonna have to pit here soon. Yeah, so Joe still has to bring that number 218 in, and he'll end up falling down just a little bit. It does look like pretty much everybody else pit though, with the exception of Tom Lanier and Rachel Sullivan. They were on lap 14 or 15, so they should be coming in soon there. You see the 24 making way for Joe and Davis as they're working around here and trying to spread things out. But if I'm Davis Shively, I would know that the 218 still needs a pit, so don't overdrive my truck too much. Allow myself some tires for the remaining laps of this race. But the battle still ensues at the front of the pack, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about the 22 and 48 here tonight, kind of walking away from the field, but keeping it so close that our interest is actually with the leaders here. And so, most of the time, it's usually just one driver kind of checks out, and you kind of check on them every now and then to see how they're doing. But the battle has been here for pretty much the second half of the race.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a heavyweight bout tonight, as it looked like once the start of the race happened, Jeremiah Grau kind of had something. He got out to the lead, but he never really checked out from Timothy Presley. Presley kept him close, and then once he was able to get on by him, Presley started checking out, and he got it out to 6 seconds, and not by accident. He definitely had a fast truck here tonight, and it looked like that was going to be a wrap. But the second stint definitely worked out for the 48. as he was able to run him back down with some great lap times, fastest lap times of the race, and was able to take the lead. And now Presley catching up to some lap traffic here as Presley was able to take the lead back on the pit cycle. And how about the send by the 48? What a move right there. And we very well may be talking about that as the race-winning move for the 48. I think he caught the 22 off guard here a little bit. And now, Rachel Sullivan just happened to be right there at the apex. And the 22 turned down the track right there. And now Presley has got some ground. He's got to catch back up. But Jimmy, I'm seeing a black flag on the 22. Is this an incident limit for the 22?
I'm gonna have to just go with a yes, Carl. Obviously pushing the limits here tonight, trying to keep that lead and maybe even run down. We've seen the 22 have his moments earlier on, and kind of trying to get that power underneath the truck and just kind of going wide in a few areas. And from experience as much as I do that the X's add fast here. The 22 are going to bring it down. Here you can see some left front damage. Now he's got to do the drive-through. He can't even stop and kind of get rid of that penalty flag, that black flag, get it done and out of the way. That's going to allow Jeremiah Grau to kind of work his way. But now it's in question, is Matt Ulmer close enough to, kind of give Tim a run for his money with 9 laps to go. Matt's, obviously, excuse me, hopefully we keep connection here, as I heard one of the loudest thunder booms in Florida.
Yeah, I heard that through my mic here. Yeah.
This for the season, yeah. I'm like,
that was pretty epic.
Like, woo! So hopefully we keep connection here. Hopefully, the neighborhood's pretty good when it comes to that stuff. It's usually like after the storm quits. For some reason, the power will flicker for some, who knows, unknown reason. Most of the power lines around here are underground, especially in our neighborhoods, which helps when we have big windstorms and hurricanes and stuff. But anyways, back to the race. Obviously, we're talking about Matt Ulmer here a little bit, and still, even though Timothy had to come down the pits, there was still an 18-second gap between Matt Ulmer and Timothy Presley. So Tim's still in good shape as far as coming home in P number 2, but one might have got away from him here or there with obviously the incidents and not being able to kind of control the car earlier, and then being involved there and trying to keep up with Jeremiah, and just the wrong spot, wrong time. Not for, like, it didn't look, Rachel wasn't, obviously on purpose, but just kind of in the wrong spot. She did her best she could there, keeping it to the inside and trying to keep things done. But it does look like Rachel's going to go ahead and bring that 224 down in the pit lane here on the lap with only 8 laps to go. So kind of stretching things out. The last time she was in was on lap number 15. So definitely some laps in the tank here for these trucks, and obviously the drivers just kind of splitting up evenly, and I don't blame them to keep on the best tires possible. And now it's up to Jeremiah Grau here to kind of just hold the position, just hit his marks, keep on going. We're looking at 18 seconds. I mean, that's over a second, almost 2 seconds a lap. So pretty safe to just say, hit your marks and make your way here. So Jeremiah looking good here for maybe a victory, as long as he can keep it safe. Timothy Presley, I'm sure won't stop, and will continue to push that 22 to see if he can catch back up or close that down. At least not let Matt Ulmer catch up to him. Aaron Genske running in a solid 4th place at the moment. Robert Altman up 8 spots, your biggest mover of the race right now in P number 5. David Shively there in the number 85 has had his fair share of battles throughout the evening, is sitting in 6th. Robert White having a nice solid run in the number 69, up 5 spots in 7th. Ronald Cook, we've seen him have a couple battles of his own here tonight, currently sitting in 8th. Joe Thomas up a couple spots after even having some incidents here tonight of his own in the top 10. David Chapman, a solid top 10 there, and the number 88 been kind of quiet. Tom Lanier's had his troubles here tonight, down 7 spots. Jeremy Gill. Obviously, we've seen him fast in the past, but not here tonight. Down 6 spots in 12th. Anthony Strickland down a couple spots as well. And P number 13, we've seen the 24 kind of go around, just getting just a few troublesome spots, trying to get the power down with these trucks. Rachel Sullivan, we talked to me and Carl, were kind of talking back and forth, and just been pretty consistent overall. Has been was up in the top 10, when she was able to kind of stretch that field out and to get around here, but just run her own race, run what she can around here. We know that she's a little newer to the service and just doing a fantastic job here tonight in the number 224. Dalton Smith, don't know where he's at the moment. Shane King's out, and Matt Bryant obviously attempted here tonight, but did not come out for the race. So yeah, the drivers are doing good. 7 laps to go here at Hold Your Brakes Academy. Again, appreciate all the fans out there keeping me in check with sound checks, and obviously coming out each and every week to watch your favorite driver finish these things. I see Joe Thomas with a black flag.
Yeah, and it could be another one. He's going to have a drive-through. Keep an eye on Presley as well. Unfortunately, we don't have an official count of how many incidents they have, but clearly a black flag on the track like that means that they've hit the incident count, and Thomas is going to have to come in to pit lane to serve it. I'm kind of not surprised that Thomas got there with all his incidents in the S-turns with all the off-tracks there. I think he had about probably 217 spins in the S's here tonight. But this one may have put him over the limit here. He's going to have to come in and serve it. But again, I'm keeping an eye on Presley because as much as he wants to keep the power down, because you never know, if Jeremiah Grau gets too many incident points, he's going to have to come and do a drive-through as well, and that may bring Presley right back up there. But Presley's got to keep his truck in check now because he's already had the incident limit, so he's already got at least 17X on that truck. 25 gets you a DQ, and I did see not too long ago he had a yellow flag, which means he cut the track and had a slowdown, so that's going to be some more X's on that 22. You definitely don't want to throw a good finish like this, even though you wanted to win, you had a race-winning truck, but you can't throw a second place away from being too aggressive when second place may be the best you can do right now. But if you get a DQ, you're finishing dead last.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would kind of put him maybe right in front of the likes of Matt and Bryant, obviously getting DQ'd. I'm not quite sure how iRacing does that. I mean, I do see here, obviously he's on lap 35. If it were to kind of happen in the last lap, I don't know if it would put him a lap down. It's kind of weird how DQs work, because sometimes they're not always the very last person, but it's not something that you want to do. Obviously throwing points away on the table here tonight, obviously having a great run, just wrong spot, wrong time, and not being able to find some power in a few corners or a little too much going into another one, but still fantastic run there by number 22. Way out in front of the leaders, even after doing a drive-through. The only person in front of him is Jeremiah Grau, and still has a nice 18-second lead. I see Aaron Genske getting involved here in another incident here. As Joe Thomas has started, but here's the S's again, and that's that weak transfer back and forth, left and right, and then make the left here, and then
did not make the left, as maybe felt some pressure there from Turtle Robert Altman right behind him, because I was about to say we may have a new battle on the track between Genske and Altman, but Genske just overshoots the entry to the shortcut there, and unfortunately had to back it up there. Only lost one spot, as Shively was right there, I believe, right behind him, but if it was, it's not for a position, as right now we only got, I believe, the top 5 on the lead lap, if I'm not mistaken. As it's a pretty amazing drive here from Jeremiah Grau, as even through the battling with Timothy Presley, it's been a fantastic run here for the 48. Started in 3rd place, took the lead early, lost it to Timothy Presley in that first run, but then got it back on the second stint. and lost it again after the second pit stop to Timothy Bresley, as Bresley went for the short pit, but fought with him, battled with him, and eventually Timothy Bresley made a little bit of a slip up, and Grau made what is going to be the race winning move into the shortcut there as they're working around the lap traffic of Tom Lanier. It was a fantastic move and a fantastic send to the inside there for the 48, and I say ascend, but I don't think he even made contact. I mean, he got right up close to him. If there was any contact, it was very minor. It didn't even, get Bresley into the wall or anything like that. It was a fantastic move by the 48, got him to the lead, and not too long after that, unfortunately, is when Bresley had his incident limit, had to come in and serve the black flag. But other than that, it's pretty damn good race here as we got 5 laps to go.
Yeah, you never know that some of these drivers, haven't been on a road course or they have very limited time out here. And it's not an easy task to do. I mean, any time that I've brought a NASCAR type of vehicle to a road course, I wanted to just park it. It just felt like, because I'm so used to all the speed and be able to slow down, and the vehicles don't slow down very well. And then when you go to turn the wheel, you're still trying to slow down. So, you can't do 2 things at once. Braking and turning doesn't work very well, especially when you're trying to brake heavy. Truck or even car, no matter what it is, will just want to push, and you end up overshooting the corners or missing braking points, and then you figure, back this up, and then you backed way too far up, and just kind of trying to find that fine line, where your the braking is. And one of the things, and that was Timothy Presley having a crash there, and now the 85 there of as we're watching Shively, he does get drive by, but that closes things up just a little bit, down to 8 seconds, with 4 laps to go for the 22
Matt
and
Ulmer.
the 48. So can Matt Ulmer make up those spots? I haven't seen it. There's Matt Ulmer right there, and maybe he's starting to kind of sniff out.
Feel it.
The 22's feeling the pressure here from the 23 as he's just trying to just run his race, and only 3 more laps to go. And you talked about incident points, and after 17, 25, comes up quick, and one here, one there, and a 2x, whatever it's going to be, can add up quickly. So sure, the 22 is feeling a little bit of pressure here, as they do have 3 laps to go, as Jeremiah Grau is now down through the S's and kind of working his way around. So it's getting close to with only 2 laps to go.
I wonder what's giving the 22 more pressure right now. The 23 of Matt Ulmer catching up to him, or the officials and that DQ flag, because it's got to be coming up. I mean, I said earlier, he already had at least 17. That's what got him the drive through. He had the yellow flag that I happened to notice, so that was at least 1 or 2 more X's, and then right there, losing control is possibly another 2X right there. So it is going to add up very quickly for the 22, and you see him maybe being a little extra cautious going through some of this track. He's stretched it out a little bit again. It's about 6.5 seconds right now. But I do see that Anthony Strickland has got himself a drive-through penalty that he's now serving, and coming back out right now. But Joe Thomas, the decent run that he was trying to put together here doesn't work out here. Looks like ends the night with a meatball flag. I didn't see what happened or when it happened, but Thomas picking up a meatball earlier on in this run. But either way, we are clicking down the laps here as Jeremiah Grau crosses the start-finish line. We've got 2 laps to go at Coda.
Yeah, just 2 more laps, and it's going to probably feel like a long 2 laps there for the number 48. Who knows how close he is to a drive-through. The battling that he had with Timothy Presley. And I'm sure Tim's trying to keep the pressure on, but now back 33 seconds as he's had a few more mistakes here kind of adding up. And, it's obviously giving some relief there for Jeremiah Grau. Could probably, obviously take his time. So doesn't have to push anything, back the corners way up, don't get any X's at all, get the truck wrapped and turned as much as needed there. It does look like there may be a little bit damage on that. It's just the way it was turning. You had to really crank that truck there to keep it going. So Tim trying to hold on here for just a couple more laps as the 23 of Matt Ulmer, your pole sitter, back there at P number 3 and trying to close in what seemed to be a very unachievable task. Is coming very, very close, and I'm sure Matt is like, come on, just mess up one more time and I can get you. I know that's, as a driver and a competitor, that's what you're thinking, like, give me a little bit of help here, let me get back up there for one more spot. But it's hard to take away the run and all the talking that we've done about the number 22 tonight.
Well, this race just about over. Once again, I want to thank all our fans out there in Sierra Nation for tuning in here tonight. We got the doubleheader coming up on Wednesday, as I keep forgetting that today is only Monday, so tomorrow night is going to be the Cora O'Reilly series, and then on Wednesday we'll have the season finale for CSRL, the 2-hour season finale. You'll have me and Jimmy out there for that one, and then the Pit Road Speed Limit Racing is going to be the second part of that doubleheader. You'll have John and Mike on the mics. Then on Thursday night, it'll be kind of the same deal, myself and Jimmy on the mics for VVR, and John and Mike on the mics for the Core GT series. But I want to send our thanks out to all the sponsors here for the series. Marty's iRacing Paint Shops, Backbone Candle Company, Mid-Tier Racing, obviously PinnersForVets.com for being the main sponsor here, and I keep forgetting Meats and Sweets. I knew that there's always one that I end up forgetting, and in case I didn't say Mid-Tier Racing as well. But we're on the final lap here. Jeremiah Grell has done a fantastic job here tonight, just sticking with Timothy Presley, keeping the pressure on, and he is the points leader for a reason. But Jimmy, last night we got to say a congratulations and just a long overdue for the 7 of Billy Rickett get the win last night and finally got a chance to interview him. We've talked a lot about Jeremiah Grell being the points leader here tonight. He came in with a 38-point lead over Aaron Genske, but that's all without a win. That changes here tonight. Jeremiah Grell, first win of the season. Your points leader finally gets it done, stretches out that lead, and he does it with a great drive here at COTA.
Yeah, fantastic drive there for the 48, and had his work cut out for him as he had to chase down the likes of Timothy Presley, which had great speed pretty much all night long, and just obviously a few mistakes caught up to the 22 here tonight, and put him in the position that he's in, but still was fast enough to hold on to a second place here and go wide for one last time up to that final turn as 22 is going to cross the line here and finish P number 2, and he makes that official. And then Matt Ulmer kind of twitching out there just a little bit, getting nervous, I guess, at that start-finish line. We'll finish in P number 3. Robert Altman doing a fantastic job. Super quiet tonight, but super solid run here for the number 94. Finishing in 4th spot, your biggest mover of the race, up 9 spots. So fantastic run there by the number 94 Turtles Machine. Aaron Genske kind of round this thing out, and after having some troubles, still finds himself in the top 5, Carl. And up 2 spots from his start. David Shively up 4 spots from his start, finishing in 6th. Robert White will be up a few spots as well, 5 to be exact, and finishing in 7th. Ronald Cook will finish in 8th. Dave Chapman in 9th, and 10th will be Tom Lanier. The rest of your field is going to be Jeremy Gill, Anthony Strickland, Rachel Sullivan, Joe Thomas, Dalton Smith, Shane King, and shout out to Matt Bryant for coming out and at least practicing here tonight. So as you can see, the teammates lining up out there maybe for a photo op. There's Tom Lanier and the 88 of Dave Chapman. So just a great run here, I think, overall from Hold Your Brakes Academy. And like I said, it's you wouldn't even know that some of these drivers, their time on road tracks are very limited.
Yeah, well, even if they have some experience on road tracks, it's road tracks with NASCAR type vehicles, or like the trucks that they had here tonight. It's a completely different monster, and it gets very difficult. And it's on tracks like this that are maybe not touched as much. They're not used to driving on a track like COTA. Certainly, you go to like a Watkins Glen or even a Sonoma, the track layout, kind of what it entails. I know Sonoma is definitely a lot tougher than a Watkins Glen, but COTA, in my opinion, is just as tough, if not, sometimes tougher than a Sonoma, just because the unfamiliarity of it, and certainly the X's prove it here tonight. I guess all their exes live in Texas here tonight, as there were plenty of them here tonight, and quite a few drivers had to come in and do some drive-throughs. But top 3 here tonight are going to get some interviews, and will do for sure. So we'll go ahead and Jimmy will give us the first interview here with our 3rd place finisher, the pole sitter here tonight, Matt Ulmer in the 23.
Hey, Matt, Jimmy, and Carl up in the booth. Copy. Matt? Matt, you there?
Yep, here now. I can hear you now.
Yeah, there you go. Got Matt on the horn here. Is obviously a fast number 23 here tonight, and you started off where you wanted to on the pole, and just them cold tires kind of big disadvantage, obviously, putting you back in the field and then having to drive your way through the field here at a very difficult track, and you're able to get back up into 3rd, and right there at the end, maybe even seeing a little bit of light to possibly grab 2nd, as Tim was starting to struggle there towards the end, trying to get the power underneath his vehicle here tonight. But you're able to make a run back there in P number 3 and kind of finish it out there. Give us a rundown on how the track was, and any difficult parts besides them cold tires.
Yeah, let's not forget about cold tires on lap 1, because I certainly did. But so I knew Timmy was on my outside. I knew he was going to, especially on lap 1, he was going to push really hard, and I just pushed it a little too far. Went way back. I think it was P13 by the time I got back on track. Got through it, got through the traffic pretty good. Those guys were just so far ahead, and they were so fast. Jeremiah, what a great run by him. So I did what I could. I thought I ran pretty well. Difficult. The S's on that course are difficult. I mean, you got to get your right sides on the first S, your left sides on the second, and your rights back on the third. So if you overshot it, it was too much. It was hard to recover. Sector 3 is a little more, intricate as well. But I think all in all, it was a good race. Like I said, Timmy and Growler had a great race, and I'm just happy P3. I'm ecstatic with that.
Yeah, I would be ecstatic here, as this track is a challenging one. Probably one of my least favorite tracks on the service when it comes to a road race. And I don't know if it's because of the corners or just how unforgiving it is, especially with the road cars with X's. I guess, with them X's in the back of your mind at all here tonight, or were you able to stay clear from any kind of drive-throughs?
So 9 of those were, off tracks. There was only a couple that were actually incidental, maybe hit a wall here and there. And the spin out obviously gave me 2, but the off tracks are what really hurt you. I would either cut the corner too close in the S's or actually it was the third S. I kept cutting it too close. So that they gave me that, but no, that really wasn't on the back of my mind. I just kept glancing up at it to see where I was, and just managed that really well, I think.
Yeah, you did a fantastic job here with the 23, and we want to say congratulations as always, and give you a little bit of time for any shouts you might have at number 23 here tonight.
Yes, sir. You guys, obviously, thank you for what you do. Great job as always. It's our sponsors: Pinups for Vets, Meats and Sweets, Marty's Paint Shop, Mid-Tier Racing. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. Hopefully not, because then I'll get penalized. But everybody else, great job tonight.
Again, thank you for the shout outs, and congratulations on your 3rd place finish, and we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
All right. Thanks, guys.
It's your third place finisher here tonight, the 23 of Matt Ulmer. Second place here tonight is going to go to the man that dominated back at Watkins Glen, led all 40 laps there, and looked like once he got to the lead here tonight was going to take off here again. But the 22 of Timothy Presley, yet to settle for second here tonight. I guess take me through the race, because it was almost, I mentioned it was like a heavyweight battle between you and Jeremiah Grau, and it seemed like every round it was somebody else throwing the punches. Certainly, he threw the first punch, got the lead. You came right back and took the lead back in that first stint, but then you kind of seemed to lose the pace a little bit. Did you lose the handle of the truck? Was it the track temperature changing that you could just kind of lost in that second stint?
Honestly, whenever it comes to that, I'm not sure. Just to shoot it straight with you, something just changed. Jeremiah got a lot faster than me. I mean, he outright beat me on speed. That's the only way to put it. But man, we were throwing absolute haymakers at each other. That's probably the most fun I've had on a road course in a very long time.
Well, clearly it was a second stint when he remembered, oh, that's right, I got to turn on my grip hacks to catch back up here. Because you were out there to about 6
That's exactly what it was.
And he finally just started running you down. He started running some great lap times, and then later in the race, you're able to pull the short pit and get the lead back.
Yeah, that was definitely a strategy call. Me and him were talking about it after the race. Right before you guys pulled me up, he bolted out of the pits. He just a little last-ditch effort to keep the lead. I got about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds on him after that fact, but he ended up hawking me down again. Couldn't get back around him. But
yeah, I mean the move that he made there into the what I consider the shortcut here at Coda. I mean the move that he threw on you there when you guys were trying to get around the lap car of Tom Lanier. Did you see that coming? Was there any way? I don't think there's any way you could have defended it, but did you see the kind of the late move there that he dove to the inside?
I knew for a fact that he was going to do it. I mean, as soon as Tom made the choice to kind of not get out of the way through the S's, I thought, oh man, this is going to be where I lose the lead. And so I went for it. He went for it a little harder than I did, got a good run, got around me, and going into that next hairpin, going into that really, really tough last section of the track, I tried to undercut him. I didn't know that Rachel was still right there under me, and ended up getting into her pretty good and got a pass-through penalty, and that kind of threw my race away.
Yeah, I figured that's what that put you over the edge of 17, and I know you're not the only one that had to do a drive-through penalty here tonight, but I thought you guys were maxed out at 25 for a DQ. Not trying to bring it up with the officials here, but I'm seeing 25 incidents for you for the end of the race here, and I figured you had to be pretty close to that limit here tonight, because even after the drive-through, I know you had a little bit of a corner cutting, you had a little bit of a spin coming out of the shortcut there as well. It was not an easy night to be clean out there.
No, it absolutely wasn't. I mean, there's such a fine line, especially going through those S's, and I was right on it every single time. And few times I'd say that it got the better of me. I got a little too antsy and cut the corner a lot. So those just added up and ended up having passed through, then spun myself. That was just a stupid move. Tried to get back on throttle way too early and way too aggressively.
Well, it's certainly going to help you out in the points to try and catch Jeremy Gill, who didn't have a good run here tonight, and Aaron Gansky finished back there in 5th, so it'll help you catch them. But unfortunately, the points that Jeremiah Grau finally picks up his first win and maybe stretches out his lead on you a little bit. But still some racing left in the season. You still got 5 races left in the season. Do you think the points title still in reach?
Oh, I absolutely think it's in reach. We've had a good car all season, and really everybody in MTR has, and a huge congratulations to Jeremiah anyway, for his first win of the season. Blind squirrel find a nut every now and then, but I don't think that this one was just luck.
Not at all. It was a great battle between you two, and I want to congratulate you on your second place finish here tonight. Before we let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
First and foremost, as always, you guys, Jimmy and Carl up in the booth. Always love putting on a good show for you guys, and I hope we did today. Pinups for Vets, SM Racing Products, and Royalty Products. MKM Racing Development, all the guys working their butts off in the shop there, and Team Conti Sim Performance.
All right, buddy. Well, once again, congrats on the finish here tonight and your charge to try and get up there in the points. We'll see you next week at Charlotte.
See you there, big guy.
Thank you. That is the 22 of Timothy Presley coming in second here tonight, just short of the man that threw the last haymaker, and that is the winner here tonight, the 48 of Jeremiah Grau.
Jeremiah, Jimmy, and Carl, the boot copy.
How are y'all?
Finally getting the final interview of the evening here at CRN for Hold Your Brakes Academy. Finally getting your first win of the season. The 48 was nothing but stellar out there tonight, on fire, throwing haymakers back and forth with the likes of Timothy Presley all evening long, and just was the one to kind of come out on top and have the least amount of mistakes and get that number 48 here to victory. Obviously, it was an interesting watch. We spent a majority of the race watching you and Tim kind of battle it out for the lead. Typically on these road races, it's usually not like that. And tonight here, I mean, obviously the rest of the field is spread out. We spread our love, but a lot of it was with you two here tonight for a majority of the laps. So great show for the fans out there for sure. But give us a little rundown on the excitement and where you found that speed all of a sudden in the second stint to track down Timothy Presley, get out in front of him, and then come back out of the pits. We seen you light up the tires on exit just to kind of hopefully catch up. And I thought maybe with them cold tires it would have fell back a little bit farther, but you ended up getting past them, taking the lead back, and just kind of running away.
Yeah, I mean, the second stint was just, I don't even know where I found all that speed. I don't know if Tim ran it a little hard in a couple corners and lost some tires. I remember him getting into the wall, so I don't know if he had damage. But I knew we had another 10 laps in us of good racing. I wish it didn't end up like that, but hey, I'll take it.
I mean, you're the points leader for a reason. Obviously been super consistent all season long so far, and you finally crack your first win, and you guys are about 2/3 of the way through. Next week you're off to Charlotte, so obviously back to the ovals, and it hopefully keep your consistency going, and maybe yet another victory in store here for the 48 this season. Obviously we always want to just let you know that we keep watching. We enjoy the show. We want to say congratulations, but most off, we want to give you some time for any shout outs that might have in that number 48.
Yeah, as always, I want to thank the sponsors, Meats and Sweets, Marty's iRacing Paint Shop, Pinup Servettes. I want to thank all my family that watches this race. I know a bunch of people watched this race tonight. I'm glad y'all did. This is for y'all. Timothy, I want to thank you for keeping it clean, man. That was some awesome racing.
Yeah, nothing like some great battling and clean by far some of the best racing we've seen here in quite some time. So again, congratulations on your victory, and then obviously your charge for that championship for the end of the season. But we'll let you go celebrate the rest of this one with your friends and family.
Yep, rowdy forever.
Yes, sir.
That is your winner here tonight, the 48th of Jeremiah Grau, finally getting it done this season. As Jimmy, back-to-back nights with first-time winners. Well, will we see a new first-time winner tomorrow night in the Core O'Reilly series? I guess we'll have to find out, and everyone out there in Sierra Nation, you have to find out by tuning in tomorrow night. This was a good one here tonight at COTA. Certainly, COTA fighting back here as it always does, and making some of the drivers drive through the pits, and some of the drivers not even able to complete all the laps, as again only had the top 5 on the lead lap by some great driving by both Jeremiah Grau, your winner here tonight, and Timothy Presley going back and forth. But that was a good one here tonight. Next week we head to Charlotte Motor Speedway, back to some oval racing. We'll have ovals the rest of the season, so I'm sure drivers may breathe a little sigh of relief that both the road races are done here for the season. But that's gonna do it for myself here and Jimmy in the CRN booth. We'll see you next week at Charlotte at the track.
Peace.